welcome to a special AVN Week episode of the Performers Pod. Today, I'm here with 2023 AVN Awards nominee, Ruby Riots. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's so crazy that this is your first AVN actually attending. I feel like the whole theme of this AVN is it's all new kind of for most people who are going to be there. It's going to be their first show because it's been 3 years since the last one. And your case is very unique.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, that was 2020 when we went for Chelsea Submits.
Wow, that's crazy.
In some ways, it feels like a decade ago. In other ways, I feel like it feels like 3 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, there's no way it's been 3 years. Come on. It was like a year ago. Like, okay, no, you're right. It's 2023.
So you went to AVN and then had to dip out early because you were sick with, was it COVID or was this a mystery illness?
Courtney Trebl's convinced that it was COVID. It was not COVID because I shared the room with Lita Letras and Courtney Treble, and they didn't get sick. And I shot content with Will Tile, and he didn't get sick. I think if it was COVID, everyone would have gotten sick. So I think it was just a nasty flu. But yeah, I brought the AVN flu to AVN and then left with it and didn't get to go to the convention or the award ceremony. So that was my first year.
So you have like the weirdest first time now AVN experience because you had that, and then the first three Spay Brats films we did got nominated in 2021. So we did it all over Zoom with each other. So now you get like the real experience. How are you like feeling about that?
It's so different than the first year that I was going. I was super stressed the first year. Like I did everything. I got my hair done, my nails done, I got waxed. I had all these shoots lined up. I was going to sign at a booth, and I'm doing it super low key this year. And I'm stoked on that. So I'm not that stressed out. The only thing I'm stressed out about is packing because I still haven't done that.
I feel that so much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm mostly just going to like have a good time and try and network a little bit and see people who I have only met on the internet, and I'm gonna shoot like a little bit of content but not really that much, and go to the awards ceremony and eat food. That's the main thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat food and hang out in the fancy Resort World bathroom.
Oh, are you staying at Yeah, that's so cool. I went there
I'm not staying at Resorts World.
Oh, yeah, I went there for my birthday, and that bathtub there, amazing, but it's also usually not AVN prices right now. So
yeah, exactly.
I think as a disclaimer for everyone listening, this AVN, like the price of everything's crazy because I think it's been like 3 years since the last one's happened. So people are very serious about it. I think it's so many people's first times getting nominated or being able to attend. So I think like so many people are going. So the price of everything is crazy right now.
Like crazy expensive compared to how it used to be.
Yeah, definitely. I would say like the hotel price are probably like 3 or 4 times more than usual.
Ooh. Yeah, well, this is the first year doing it at Resorts World because before it was at Hard Rock, correct?
Mm-hmm. So
like,
interesting.
I didn't go.
I remember like us having an empty seat and being like, oh, that's where Ruby would be right now.
Oh, so sad.
I know, we were so sad about that. So interesting thing I didn't realize until yesterday, actually. The first AVN was at the Sands Resort, which is currently where Resorts World is.
I was not aware of that, no.
So it being the 40th year, it's actually returning to the exact spot where it started.
That's funny.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I just feel like there's so many different things this year with it than usual years. I feel like usually it's very much, oh, we just saw everyone together at the last convention, which was usually XBiz, which was the week before. And this is, I feel like, the first really major convention since. And GAVN is Friday now, and they used to be 2 separate weekends. So I think it's just going to be...
That's cool.
Honestly, kind of crazy, but I kind of have the same attitude as you. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go there. We have reservations for a buffet. Hell yeah to the buffet. I also feel like our genre, there's not that much drama in it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really that much drama around it, thankfully. So yeah, it should be pretty low key on our end, which is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
So like we took a break from East Bay Brats for like a year and a half, basically. So like what did performing really look like for you this year after returning from COVID? Because how long of a break did you personally take?
From shooting with other people, oh my gosh. I mean, I had to have been maybe a year and a half or something. It was a
Yeah.
long time. I remember when we went on the set for East Bay Brats 4, it was not quite like riding a bike until like maybe the second scene in. Like I was really nervous. It felt like starting all over again. So I was just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But it came together really smoothly and it was fine. But it was like very different than just hopping right back into it because it'd been so long.
Yeah, it really was. I think just like seeing you guys again and being like, oh my God, you guys all exist. When we were doing the photo shoot in the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is a thing. All of you are still real, tangible people and not just like a figment of my
Oh,
imagination, you
yeah,
know?
people on the internet.
I think it's so weird because we shot so much of the first East Bay Rats films in I think like a 6-month period.
Did
Because
we?
we I
Oh
think we
yeah, no, we
started in
did.
2019.
The first East Bay Brats was like September of 2019, and then February of 2020 was the second East Bay Brats.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right? When was the
Yeah,
third
that was
one
the
then?
last thing we shot because that was right after I moved in with my fiance. And I remember being like, okay, this is my first shoot, living with my partner here and being like, I'm just going to be on the couch for the next day doing nothing, just so you know. And I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm totally blanking when we shot the third one then.
I think it was like probably around February or like shortly after we got back from Vegas.
Oh, wait, you're right. Maybe I'm mixing them up. When was the second one then?
I think maybe like December. I think we shot it in like, wow, that was a lot shorter than 6 months then. That was like
Oh,
a
wow.
4 or 5 month span of 3 movies,
Dang. Okay. Yeah, that was
which
a
didn't
crazy
feel like a
time.
big deal then because everyone was
Mhm.
doing so much stuff that was just like, oh yeah, we'll just show up on set and we'll make a movie. It's fine.
Yeah, I remember it being like that. No, I was working so much at that time that, yeah, I just everything kind of blends together. And now it's like a big deal if I'm doing a shoot because
Right?
we're not packing it in quite as much.
Yeah, it definitely changes my perspective because now I'm like a week out from a shoot. I'm like kind of nervous now again. And like before, we did so many. I don't think I ever had nerves shooting with any of you guys until the East Bay Rats 4.
Yeah, totally. That's how I felt too. Yeah, I was like, I still know how to do this, I think, right?
I mean, it's so crazy what our first scene was. So like our first scene was I was getting like triple teamed essentially and like my tits pumped and like just a lot of stimulation happening. And I feel like it was so weird to go from being in the pandemic for so long to then being like, oh shit, someone's ass is on my face right now.
And then getting fucked at the same time and
Yeah.
having your tits milked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot for the first scene. Yeah, so once we started getting into it, it was like, it did come back pretty naturally, but yeah, you definitely took a lot for that first scene back.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's just like I feel like our creative process is like two people have an idea and Lita and I were like, oh, I want to like use this milking machine on you. And I'm like, okay, it sounds great. I'm like, oh, does anyone else want in? And everyone's just like, yes.
Yeah, no, we all just jumped on that one. You're like, that sounds great. I want to be in it too.
I just love that's like how our collaborative process is that we also all
Mhm.
go in there and really come up with our own kind of like fetishes that we want to cover and everything.
Yeah, I'm honestly really stoked for the next one because I already have ideas.
I know I have a list of like 6 scene ideas. I'm like, eventually I'm gonna have a chance to use all these.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, our next scene in general is going to be fucking dope. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. Also, again, being like, oh my God, I'm doing a scene in a week. Almost like that nervous stuff again, but I'm
Oh
feeling
yeah.
like really stoked about it. And just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I'm a little nervous too. But I'm also like, no, it'll be good. I have the day off before, so I'm gonna get all my shit together and ready. And I
yeah.
have like a session earlier that day, and that really gets me into the mindset.
Yeah, we're doing a public disgrace scene, which if you follow me on social media, it's all I've been spamming people about the last 2 months. Being like, I want to make this happen because when I first started at Kink, so much of BDSM was just closed to trans women where they're like, you can be a dom and you top with your cock and you can come on someone's face. It's as dominant as it gets, you know?
Yeah, geez, things have definitely changed a lot since that era.
Yeah.
Really?
Right? I think it's interesting because I feel like you came into this industry at a very interesting time. Did you feel like it was mostly better when you came in, or when you came in, were you very aware of kind of some of the, how do I say, maybe like gross practices by some of these companies?
I wasn't aware of how gross it was until later on, unfortunately. I've, mostly just been doing independent stuff and then shooting with Trouble Films and Crashpad Series. So like I feel like I've kind of sheltered myself from a lot
Yeah,
of that.
definitely.
Like in 2019 though, like when I kind of had my debut, I was hit up by a ton of companies and studios, and I just got really creepy vibes from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like because I'm a professional dominatrix, like I'm really good at reading people just over email even. And if I get like sussed out immediately, like I just bail. Like, nope, not worth it. Fuck that.
Yeah,
I
because then
gotta
it
just
turns
do
into a
something
day
I
of,
want to do.
then it's like truly a day of work where you're just like, okay, when am I done with this so I can get my money and leave?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I wasn't quite aware of what I was getting into, I guess, when I started. But then again, like this all kind of started as like, oh, this is fun, little hobby. And now it's like work and a job. And it's very different than what I was anticipating getting into.
I feel like when you have that perspective and where you're coming from, you can say no to jobs and not feel like it's so much of a, oh my God, I have to take this for rent right now or whatever. I
Hmm.
think like that's probably the healthiest way to go into porn, honestly, because I think particularly when I started, when it was all these studios and that's how you got work, you couldn't do anything independently. You were just basically relying on them and being like, okay, hopefully this older man still likes me so I can get work, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, so I was very lucky and privileged in that regard that I didn't have to say yes to everything. Like I definitely considered it for a minute, but kind of just decided to go with my gut and do what felt right for me.
Yeah. And it seems to be working out. I mean, honestly, just like this whole East Bay Brats thing, I would have never assumed that our friends making stuff in East Oakland would get us all these nominations and stuff.
Oh, I know, right?
Like it literally doesn't make sense. I'm like, that was like 4 blocks from my house, and like our whole idea was like, well, we were all shooting together anyway, so maybe it'd just be fun to like put it in a movie or whatever.
Yeah, I never had any inclination that it would lead to this. So it's been a really exciting journey, especially doing
Yeah,
it with all my friends.
right. I feel like that's like the best part about it, that it's not this intentional thing that we went in and we're like, we need to create the best BDSM studio or whatever. It was just like, oh, these are the things we're genuinely interested in doing and have access to.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's really interesting just how we were able to create all these movies with not really a script so much. Like a lot of it, I feel like was ad-libbed and just kind of naturally came together when we started
Hmm.
filming. Like we had like very loose ideas and like sort of an outline, but it just really kind of came together when we were on set, which I think makes it really unique and
I mean,
genuine.
yeah, I feel like there's really two aspects that is so meaningful to me personally about the Brats is like we can make all this really hot BDSM, and I think it's as hot as any other company who's making like lesbian BDSM right now.
Hmm.
But then there's the other level of just like being like our creative process together, I think so special that we all just go in there and it's all so collaborative. And even after the film's done, we're all doing all sorts of editing. And I just don't know any place in porn that anything like that's really being done, where you're having all the performers editing themselves, and it's all like completely in-house, where there's not some other person's fingers on it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that also gives it like an edge that makes it different than other porn that's being produced by these other companies, for sure.
So you've had this experience now 3 times of finding out that you're nominated for an AVN. What has this year's experience been like? Because I think I was on a phone call to call you 2 years ago about the East Bay Brats thing, and you were at like Trader Joe's and really stoked. What was it this year?
I don't even remember what I was doing when I found out this year. I think I just found out from like the internet at first, maybe. I don't remember. But no, it was exciting and like definitely not as exciting as the first year because like as years go on, it's like kind of it never
Yeah.
stays quite as exciting. But I think what's been exciting about this year is like, okay, I am gonna go this year and I'm not gonna get sick this time. Like I feel fine right now. That's great. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
That and just like even if I didn't actually fully experience it the first time, like I am really looking forward to it this year because like it is new to me. And then I'm also not super stressed out about it because I learned a lot from the first year. Just like there's no point in getting all stressed out about it. Like it
Mhm.
does nothing. And I don't need to like pack 5 shoots into every day that I'm there.
Yeah, also I feel like shoots get canceled so much during AVN week because you have
Mhm.
everyone trying to do the most.
Yeah, definitely. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that again this year. I felt so bad having to cancel on so many people the first year.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like I think I did 1 or 2 year where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna try to shoot a whole movie in a weekend.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
worked, but then I got AVN flu, obviously, because everyone's
Mhm.
shooting with everyone. It's just like kind of happens now, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vegas is kind of a hot spot in general for getting sick and possibly COVID. And so adding in mixing everyone's body fluids to that, it's just kind of a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like the maybe like the thing people don't want to actively talk about, but like COVID's still definitely around. I got it last month, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. The last time I went to Vegas over the summer, I went to Psycho Las Vegas. I got COVID there. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's a chance I could pick it up there again, and I really don't want to, but like it's possible we're gonna be around a ton of people.
Yeah, I'm planning on wearing a mask. I don't care if no one else is. That was kind of my experience in Europe too. Like no one wears a mask there now. They're just like, "Oh, it's fine." I'm just like,
Yeah. Wow.
I don't think it's fine now."
Yeah, I still try to wear a mask, like especially like I got my nails done today. Like I'm close contact with other
Mhm.
people. I don't want to risk that because COVID sucked. I don't want to get
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. Like people are like, "Well, there's a 90% chance or whatever survival," but it's also like you still feel shitty for a week though. I still want to avoid that, you know?
Yeah, I felt shitty for like 2 weeks. It was awful.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience. I highly suggest if you are going to AVN, wear a mask or get your booster or something.
Yeah, just don't do what I did. Don't get your flu shot and your COVID booster in the same day. You will regret it. It's awful.
Yeah, I heard about that. How bad was that experience?
I think it could have just been the COVID booster by itself,
Mm.
but who knows? I think it was both of them at the same time. It was just a little much. I was like, I'm gonna be super healthy this year. And now I feel like death.
It is very strange when you're like, I'm being responsible. I'm gonna get the COVID thing, and then you get it, and then you're sick for like 3 days, and you're just like, why?
Yeah. Thankfully, my thing was only like 12 hours, but still not fun.
So, what challenges did you have this year with COVID or just otherwise? Because everything's definitely not where it was in 2019, where we left off, basically. Like, I still feel like this industry is in a very new place.
Yeah, I feel like you said, like a lot of people aren't really taking COVID seriously anymore,
Hmm.
so it hasn't really been as much of a thing I feel like even most of this last year, but I don't know, for sure like a year ago, like I did a couple shoots where we at least did COVID tests the day of the shoot, just to make us feel a little bit better about it. And then yeah, at one point, like when I started taking in-person sessions again, like I was asking people to show me their proof of vaccination. And when I, was just getting back into it, I was still wearing masks during sessions and stuff. So, it's been a lot more to think about, but after a certain point, it does become second nature, where it's like not really a big deal to wear a mask.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal to take a COVID test. Like before I visited my family for Christmas, I took a COVID test and asked everyone else to. And it's like it takes 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, especially with shooting now, where it's like, I know a day of COVID test isn't 100% sure, but it at least gives you that like peace of mind when you're actually performing, that you're not in the back of your mind just being like, oh, what if this is a COVID situation,
Yeah, totally. And again, you never know because they aren't that accurate. But I guess it's more of an annoyance when you have to consider TTS testing, and then if you also want to get a PCR COVID test, like that is actually can be a
For
lot.
sure. That's the deep one, right?
Well, that's the one that they actually send off to a lab and you get results like 24 to 48 hours later.
Yeah, I feel like the rapid COVID one where you just have to like do the little swab, that's fine. But I don't know if it was early in the because it was early in the pandemic, but I had a kidney stone. I had to go to the ER because of it. And they gave me like the long COVID thing where they like go back in your head with like the stick that's like, I swear, like 6 inches long. That shit's so brutal.
Damn, really? Whenever I got PCR tested, it was like very similar to a rapid test, the way that they just like stick it in your nose.
Maybe it was because it was still early. I think it was
Yeah,
only like
that
3
might have
months into
been.
COVID. That shit sucks so bad.
Well, I do think they used to go a lot deeper. And then
Yeah.
they realized, oh, we don't have to go like inside your fucking brain to test
Yeah,
for
I
COVID.
swear that's the most penetration, like depth wise, any part of my body ever has.
This is so invasive. We should make this into a porno.
Of course. Everything's gonna eventually be made into a porno.
I
Someone's
wouldn't be
definitely gonna do a
surprised.
PCR test thing in a porno, like the way back one.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty uncomfortable, so I could definitely see that being like a form of torture.
I definitely feel like you're definitely like, of these Bay Brats, you're like the medical fetishist of our group.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten way more into that, which has also led into my other ideas for East Bay Brats 5. I'm like, we have to do another medical scene. I have more things. I have more ideas.
It's so filthy. I edited, I think, your first one you did with Nova. It's just like so filthy that there's
Oh,
like
no, the
shining a
first one
light
was with
inside.
Lita. The second one
Oh,
was Nova or
what
Jupiter. Jupiter now.
Jupiter? Yeah, I always forget.
I
Whenever
know.
porn names happen, it takes a second.
Definitely.
The artist formerly known as Nova Sky.
Yes.
No, Jupiter
Jetson.
Jetson. There's
Yeah.
also a Jet Set. I know. Someone with that last name in porn. I feel like porn last names can really throw me off sometimes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
either like really good with the first name or really good with the last name, but I'm like, fuck, what is it together?
but the scene I edited was like Lita shining like a light inside of you in the scene
Mhm.
with a speculum. I'm just like, holy fuck, this is like some real kinky stuff.
Yeah, that was super kinky. It was great. Yeah, I love that scene so much. I think Courtney might have edited the second one, and I
Hmm.
want to say that Courtney had a hard time with it because of the spit. I think Courtney really doesn't like spit.
Oh, really?
I think so. There's this one scene, and I think the first medical scene I did with Lita that Courtney gets like so irked about. I think it's hilarious. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
hot though. I love spit
I
play.
love spit. It's great. I feel like that's like the one thing, especially watching porn during the pandemic. Any spitting, you're like, oh,
Oh, I know. I know. It was so funny. Yeah, I've gotten to the point where it's like it doesn't freak me out quite as, anymore. But
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly back to normal-ish. Like, I feel like sets feel more normal, but
it's
I
the
feel
new
like,
normal.
yeah, it's just so strange. I feel like, especially this AVN, I feel like we're gonna know barely anyone there, and realizing that most people are in that situation just because it's
Yeah,
so many new people.
that's what I was thinking about for sure. It's like, I don't know if it's the Twitter algorithm, but I couldn't really find anyone that was going this year that I knew. And like
Hmm.
once I actually started looking at individual people's pages, I was like, oh, you are going. It's just I don't see you because we're shadow banned from each other.
You can change your Twitter layout to latest available tweets.
I need to do that.
Yeah, it's made Twitter actually I mean, no, it hasn't made it bearable. It fucking sucks still. It is
Yeah.
super toxic, but at least I'm now seeing like people actually follow.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like I don't see anyone that I'm following that I actually want to see. So that's like one of the reasons why I don't have that many shoots lined up this year. It's just
Mhm.
like I didn't know anybody that was going.
Yeah, I feel like, especially with shooting next week, I'm just like, I don't want to get COVID or something from some content trade shoot, you know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, good point for sure.
Because you just don't know. Like, I got COVID from one of my shoots this year, and it was one of the most vanilla scenes I've ever shot. And it's just like, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good reminder that I might even bring an at-home test with me to
Yeah, it's a
AVN
really good idea.
just to have a little bit of peace of mind.
I feel like that's like having a bunch of COVID tests is like what pornographers are known for now. Instead of me like stocking up on enemas, now I have a bunch of COVID tests.
Yeah, it's like fleet enemas and COVID tests.
Yeah, that's the life. So, did you really have any positive experiences at the last AVN, or how many days were you actually there for?
I was there, I think, if you're including the day that I arrived, 2 days. The first day was fun though. Like, we went to the weed club with Drake, Man of War.
Hmm.
Um, and I met Spooky, Fat Brat.
Oh yeah.
I was like dying in the other side of the room while that was being filmed. So whenever I see like clips from it, I'm just like, I was there. I felt like shit.
I got in, I think it was like the Thursday before the awards, and I like hit Courtney and lit up. I'm like, oh, do you all three want to hang out? And they're like, well, Ruby's like dying in the bed right now, so probably not.
Yeah. Um, I did shoot with Will Tile though, and that was a really good experience. So yeah, I did one scene. And then I filmed two scenes actually. So I did quite a
Okay.
bit considering that I wasn't feeling well. Um, I filmed Adora Belly and Courtney Trouble, and that was a really beautiful scene. It was like during the sunset. It was so
Oh
pretty.
yeah, I totally know that scene. It's really pretty.
Yeah. And then I also shot a foursome with Lita, Sinsage, Drake, and Courtney Trouble. And that one was funny because we shot it at like midnight. And it's like it's in a Vegas hotel room, so it
Hmm.
shouldn't be a big deal, but they were being super fucking loud. And someone
Of
actually called
course.
someone called security on us. And security like knocked on the door. And because like I wasn't really feeling that well and was just super out of it, like Courtney opened the door and was like, yeah, yeah, we'll be quiet. We'll be quiet. Thankfully, we had finished at that point, but that was one of the funniest things from that whole trip.
I have been in that situation with Courtney before on shoots. Like yeah, hotels on vacation. Like I feel that.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, yeah, we're in Vegas during AVN. Like, what do you guys expect? Why else would we rent a hotel room?
For real.
Gonna do debaucherous, dirty things.
The Cosmo is now trying to like crack down on people filming porn there. So
Really?
if they see your camera equipment, they'll try to confiscate it until your thing
No.
is over. Yeah, I saw a thing on YouTube about it because all these YouTubers so I don't know how I got down this train, but there's a bunch of people who live in Vegas who
Uh-huh.
just review all the Vegas hotels every single day basically.
Really?
And like all the places in it. And one of them got in trouble because they had camera equipment and the Cosmo took it. And they're like, if you don't give us your stuff, we're gonna trespass you, which means you can't stay here and you have to leave and you can't come back.
They can do that?
Yeah, like the power of Vegas hotels is crazy.
Oh
It
my
really
God.
is. Like Vegas casinos, because that's like the whole state's revenue.
Damn, that's fucking nuts.
If you
That's
want to go down
crazy.
like a whole anti-police documentary, there's one about the Vegas police force and it's fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
And it
Yeah,
has to
that
do
doesn't
with
surprise me.
like the shooting too. Like there's all this drama that like the way the hotels operate with the police is different than how they would operate in any other city.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're gonna protect their money, so
Yeah.
that doesn't really surprise me. But that's just wild to hear about confiscating camera equipment. So
Right?
that's good to know. Word to the wise for anyone going next time. Yeah.
Also, there's so much porn that you can find online of porn being shot at the Cosmo in Vegas. So, oh well.
That's funny. Well, fuck them then.
Right? So, we're going into another AVN being nominated for Best BDSM. I think this is 3 out of 4 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the past, like we were also nominated for like best niche series, and this is like
Yeah.
best BDSM film, because I think in the past we were nominated for East Bay Brats in general, and this year it's East Bay
Yeah, it
Brats
was like the
4.
series.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, so let's say it's the end of the night and we end up winning. What's the celebration plan?
Oh, definitely going out and getting food. Even if we lose, we're going out and getting food.
Yeah, for sure. I want to find one of those comically large joints that are like a foot long.
A comically large what?
Joint. So
Oh,
Courtney and I actually did this once before, probably like 5 years ago for their birthday. We found a joint that was like a foot long, essentially. It was actually all filled with weed.
wow.
It was like a $70 joint, and we hit it and we just kept hitting it until it was gone, basically. It was so
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw one of those out in the wild was like at a burnt ramen show. If you know what burnt ramen is, RIP. But um wow, that just sounds intense. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. The last time I
Okay.
smoked weed in Vegas, like I think I'm like allergic to the strain wedding cake. So
Oh, that could be.
yeah, so I like I'm trying not to fucking do that again this time. Like I might have a baby amount of weed
Okay.
this time, but I'm not trying to have you guys take care of me all night if I did something like that. That sounds like
Well,
fun though. I'm sure
yeah.
there'll be lots of weed smoking regardless.
Yeah, right. I feel like that's gonna happen regardless. What kind of food are you really like stoked for in Vegas?
Last time I went to Vegas, I was supposed to go to this barbecue joint. It's like Baby Ray's or something. I forget
Oh yeah.
what it's called, but of course we didn't look and see what days it was open, so it was closed when we got there. So I'm gonna try that again. I want to go to this pizza joint that I of course don't remember the name of.
Is it like
Uh,
the one with like the huge pieces of pizza?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. My partner wants to go for some reason. Like, it's probably not anything special, but it looks good. Like, yeah, because food always looks good. Um, yeah, we watch videos of food on Instagram for
Yeah, I feel like that's everyone as you get older. You just
yeah,
are
right.
like, oh,
It's like I don't drink anymore. I don't care about going out to clubs or anything. I
nope.
just want to eat food.
Honestly, a Vegas club feels like the worst place in the world. I've never gone to one and I never want to.
Yeah, like I'd fuck with the strip club, but that's about
Well,
as much as I would do.
that's different though.
Yeah, it's different, definitely.
I'm thinking of like Kelvin Harris Club or like Skrillex or whatever or whoever they have there.
I don't even know what any of that means.
Oh my God, really? You are so lucky. You are so lucky. You have no knowledge of EDM. That's lovely.
Oh no, I've definitely tried to steer clear of it. I do not enjoy that kind of music at all. That's why I don't go to clubs. I'm like, I barely dance at all. Like when I'm going out to some sort of DJ event,
I
which I
can't do that anymore.
rarely do. So yeah, it's
I was
not
so
my
hard
bag.
into that in like 2011, right when I was like 21. I loved going
Yeah,
to gay
that
clubs.
was definitely the time for it. Yeah, I remember a lot of people being really into it, and I just never did it. I've never been to a rave. So
That's probably for the best, honestly. I've never been to a rave. I just went to like a gay club that would play all that like EDM stuff. But also like when I lived in Michigan, that was like the only gay thing to do.
yeah, gay clubs are actually really fun. Or I've been to gay bars. I'm like, I'm not sure. Now, the times I've tried to go into gay clubs were in Europe and they didn't let me in, but
Oh.
I tried. But yeah, um, yeah, I think celebrating is probably going to look like smoking a ton of weed, and I'll get, peer pressured into it. And then y'all are going to have to sit me down, get me water.
So
I'm okay now.
if we win, are you crying?
No,
I'm
no,
crying.
I'm not a
I'm crying
crier.
hard.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't think I'll cry.
Well, I mean, it's just so crazy. I feel like, especially within our category, like we're nominated against Joanna Angel, and that's fucking crazy.
I know, I saw that. I was looking at the other nominees today. She's like, that's so cool.
Yeah, like you can't even be mad. Like, if you lose to Joanna Angel, there's no reason to be mad. Like, I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
never get
she's
mad about that. Yeah.
I feel like she's the reason there's tattoos in porn now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately too. It's just like how much the culture around tattoos has changed.
mhm.
It's like now everybody in the porn industry, I feel like,
Yeah,
has tattoos.
it's not
Like
even talked
it's
about.
so rare to see someone who doesn't have tattoos.
Yeah, there's not very many performers I know who don't. I can think
Mhm.
of maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, same. It's really just a point now of like, okay, do you have a few tattoos or are you like heavily tattooed?
Yeah, do you have a face tattoo or no?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like face tattoo or go home. It's like I'm not that heavily tattooed. My neck and my face aren't tattooed. So
Yeah, I feel like as long as like 25% of your body is tattooed, I'm like, you're heavily tattooed.
yeah, that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. I always get into that argument with my partner because they have quite a lot of tattoos, but they're mostly not visible. I'm like, you're extremely tattooed. And they're like, no, you can't see any though.
I didn't even know your partner was tattooed.
Yeah, they have a really amazing traditional Japanese piece like all over their body.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna have to check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting. Did you ever like get into Burning Angel a lot? Like,
I've seen scenes, but I know I was never really into it. I think back in the day I was more into kink,
oh yeah.
regrettably. But
I know that's a problem. Like their dream their dream thing is sold me on moving to California to work for them, basically. So now I'm like, oh, you needed to know more. But I think it's like there were some really amazing directors there, like Princess Donna and Bobby Starr, who were doing really, really cool things. And I feel
Mhm.
like it's just changed over time with different directors. And I feel like that just kind of happens to most companies, you know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that happens a lot.
But I think we're also up against them, right?
I don't honestly remember seeing them. I know we have
Oh.
been up against them in the past. I'm looking it up right now.
I feel like that's always like my petty thing that I think everyone who has a former employer who they no longer work for has whenever you're like against them or up against or like, just competing against them or even just nominated alongside them, you're just like, oh, I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that's made it like really exciting and special is to be up against these companies that like I used to really want to shoot for. And now we're making our own porn that's like so much more special to all of us.
Yeah, I think that's like the really special thing, that it's not just, oh, we're nominated, but it's that it's our whole like little group, and it really feels like a team or a band or something. That win or lose, I'm so stoked about what we made. You know, where there's some other projects that get nominated and you just kind of move past and you're like, oh, that was a good film, but it didn't win. With this, I just feel like I think we could keep making East Bay Brat stuff even if we got nominated for nothing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're not doing it for the nominations. We're doing it for us.
We're doing it for the money. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of it, is like I think a lot of these big companies are doing it for the money, and they try to do what sells. Like one of the one of the people's or films that's nominated is I'll Be Your Latex Slave. Latex is fucking hot. I love latex, and it totally sells, I'm sure. But we're just doing what we want to do. And I'm not in it for the money, not at all.
No.
Okay, so actually Kink is nominated.
Okay. So also, like, on another level, it is kind of crazy there's that much Bay Area representation in the BDSM category.
Oh, I can see it for sure. Well, I mean, Kink doesn't really count. They're in Vegas.
I hear they occasionally shoot at our dungeon, though.
Which dungeon?
Blackthorn.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that they shot some stuff at Blackthorn. Maybe not,
I
though.
See that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Who hasn't shot there?
So, yeah, how do you feel about going into Vegas tomorrow?
I'm not looking forward to getting up early, but so I'm sure I'll be a little sleep deprived the first day, but it'll be chill. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. Yeah, like I've gone to Vegas like so many times, but like it's exciting when you have stuff planned to do and you're going to see your friends there.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Like, you know, win or lose, like I'm excited for the experience.
Yeah, I'm excited to go with all of you, and like really that we have like this team that has done this now 3 times of like going into this whole thing as everyone together. It's just so cool because I feel like early in my career I got nominated for like solo performer stuff. And with this, I feel like it's so special because you get to share this experience with everyone in your collective.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm excited to sit next to y'all.
Right?
Yeah. And you know what else is fun is like Courtney, yourself, and I are all getting our makeup done at the same place right around the same time. So that'll be fun.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Where can everyone find you on social media?
I am on Twitter. My handle is Ruby_Riots. And then my new Instagram, because I just lost my old one, is
so sad.
Yeah, whatever. I'm used to it. My new Instagram is at Ruby Riots Official. So follow me there. Twitter is probably your best bet for now, but I also have a website, rubyriots.com, and that's RIOTS, not to be confused with the wrestler.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so great to catch up, and everyone can watch the AVN Awards live streaming, and I think it's gonna be live on Showtime as well. So everyone catch that. But thank you so much, and best of luck on Saturday, because if you win, I guess we all win. So
everybody's getting laid. Yeah.
Right.
Well, congrats to us for getting a nomination again. That's so fucking that's dope. I'm very excited. And thank you again for having me, and good luck to you as well.
A global pandemic could not stop us, so we're all good.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. We are an unstoppable force.